Sairam class, how are you all? I hope that you all are very fine and be in touch in your study. So class, before starting our class, let's revise what we had studied in previous classes, as revision is always necessary and very useful. First, we learned about the multiplication of integer. We know that when two integer, one of which is positive and one is negative, are multiply, then we get a negative integer as answer. That means, in short, a positive and a negative integer gives a negative integer in a result of multiplication. Then move on to next one. We know that two negative integer when multiplied give a positive integer as result. And when more than two negative integers multiply, then what will happen? So we have two rules for this situation. The first one is when the number of negative integers is odd, then the answer will be negative integer. Whereas when the number of negative integers is even, then their multiplication will be a positive integer. Okay class? Move on to other properties of multiplication of integer closer under multiplication. It says that when we multiplies two integer, we get an integer as a resultant. That means we can say that integers are closed under multiplication. Repeat, when two integers multiplies, we get a integer as a resultant. Okay, next one, commutativity of multiplication. It says that when we multiply a with b, it is exactly similar to when we multiply b with a. That means we can say that multiplication is commutative for integers. Whether 7 multiplies with -1 or -1 multiplies with 7, we get same answer. Okay. Next one, associativity of multiplication. Now what associativity says? It says that when three integers are multiplying with each other, then when we multiplies first two integers first and then multiply its resultant to the third one, it gives the exactly equal answer to when we multiply the last two one and multiply its result with the first one. In both the cases we get same answer. This is the multiplication is associative for integer. This is associativity for multiplication. Okay. Now to the next one, distributive property. Now what distributive property says, that when two integers, when the addition of two integers is multiplied with a integer, then we can solve this problem by distributing a with b as well as with c. Okay, again, when two integers are adding and their addition is multiplied with the third one, then we can also solve this problem as by distributing a with b as well as c. A into B, then put sign positive, and then A into C. Similarly, for the case of negative, this is our distributive property. Now class, let's start today's class for division of integers. Before that, I want you all to take your pencil, pen, or notebook so that you can write important things for your revision purpose. So, let's start our class. Division of integers. Now we all know that division is the inverse operation of multiplication. Now what does this line mean? It means when we multiply two integers, for example, 3 multiplied with 5 gives 15. We can perform or check this operation with its inverse one. Means we can divide 15 with 5 to get 3, or we can divide 15 with 3 to get 5. You can easily see here this. This is what these lines mean, that division is the inverse operation of multiplication. Now, in division of integers, we will learn first about division of a positive and a negative integer. For this, we take an example. Minus 72 divides with 8. Here we have negative and one positive integer. Okay. So when we divide 72 by 8, we take out minus as common, and then it becomes simple whole number division. So 72 divided by 8 gives 9, and we have minus already here, which we had taken as common before. So that means when we divide a negative integer with a positive integer, we get a negative integer. Let's check for when we divide a positive integer with negative integer, what we will get. So here we take these two numbers, separate from negative sign, and it becomes the simple division of whole number again. So we get 9 for the answer. Now minus is already taken as common, so again we get the same answer. That means whether we divide negative integer with positive or positive with negative, we get minus sign in result. That means we can say that when we divide one positive and one negative integer, we get a negative integer as a resultant, or positive divide with negative is exactly equal negative divides with positive. Okay, this is the conclusion, that a divided by minus b is equals to minus a divided by b. Now second is division of two negative integers. When we divide two negative integers, that means minus 12 is divided by minus 6. For this, let's take both the minus sign as common, and we get a simple whole number division inside. So here answer 2 for this division. Now what about negative sign? See, both the negative sign cancel out to each other. Okay, you can easily see here they cancel out with each other and we get a positive integer answer for the division of two negative integers. Again, this is our final conclusion that minus a divided by minus b gives a divided by b as answer. In other word, when we divide two negative integers, we get a positive integer as answer. Okay class? Move on to next one. Now about properties of division of integers. In last class, we had learned various properties of multiplication of integers. Now, similarly, we have various properties of division of integers. We will start with the simplest one. The first one is integer divided by 1. That means when any integer is divided by 1, what we will get? So let's try to understand it with example for both positive as well as negative integer. Let's talk about positive integer first. Here, when we divide 27 with 1, we get 27 itself as an answer. Now, let's check for negative integer. When we divide 41 with 1, first we take minus as common. Now we get this simple whole number division inside the bracket, this one. Now solve this simple division with minus as common. We get 48 for this division and this minus sign which we had taken as division, as common. So what we will get as answer? Minus 48 as answer. That means when we divide minus 48 with 1, we get minus 48 itself as the answer. So we can say that any integer divided by 1 gives same integer as answer. Say a divided by 1 gives a as answer. I hope this is very clear to all of you. So let's move on to the next one, which is 0 divided by an integer. When 0 is divided by an integer, let's try to understand with an example. Let's take an integer a. When we divide 0 with a, we get 0 as answer, where a should not be 0. A could be negative integer, could be positive integer, but could not be 0. With this condition, when when 0 divides with a means any integer, then we get 0 as answer. For example, when we divide 0 with 7, we get 0 as answer. When we divide 0 with 127, we get 0 as a answer. Or whatever bigger or smaller number you can take, when you divide 0 with any number, which could be any biggest or bigger number, answer is always 0. Okay class? That means 0 divided by any integer gives 0 as answer. Now, third one is exactly opposite to the second one, which is when any integer divided by 0. Okay, divided by 0. Let's take an integer a. When we divide any integer with 0, its answer is not defined. Not defined means it could not be calculated. Its solution could not be defined. Why? Let's try to understand with an example. 15 divided by 0. What should be its answer? We have to check it. So, we will take that answer as x. Okay? Since x should be such a number by multiplying with 0, x should be such a number when we multiply x with 0, we get 15. Why they are saying that? Let's recall that multiplication division relation which we have discussed in this class very first. So that is what we are trying to solve is what is the value of x. So we know that when 15 and 0 are dividing, that means when 15 is divided by 0, we will have answer x. That means when we multiply this x with 0, we should get 15. And when we multiply x with 15, we should get 0. Now for this, as there is no number by multiplying with 0, we get non-zero number. It could not be possible that when we multiply any number with 0, it is other than 0. It could not be possible. So, this situation is false or not applicable. That is why we are saying that any integer divided by 0 is not defined. Okay, class? Let's move on to the next one. Next, we will solve few questions of exercise 1.4. Before that, let's recall the properties of division of integers we have learned so far. So, we know that division of a positive and a negative integer gives a negative integer as answer. Whether that negative integer is a divisor or dividend, the answer is always negative. Second is division of two negative integers. When we divide two negative integers, we get a positive integer as the answer because both the negative sign will cancel out with each other. Integer divided by 1. Whenever we divide any integer by 1, we get same integer as the answer for both positive as well as negative integer. Okay? Similarly as a case of multiplication. Next one, 0 divided by an integer. When a 0 means when a 0 is divided by any integer, whether it is positive, negative, small, big, the answer is always 0. Whereas when any integer divided by 0, its answer is not defined. Okay? Now, let's solve few questions of exercise 1.4. The first question is, evaluate each of the following. In this, we have to solve. They are very easy divisions. For example, in A, it is minus 30 divided by 10. We all know that division of one positive and one negative integer will give negative as answer, and 30 divided by 10 will be 3. So, minus 3 is the answer for A. The next, B, 50 divided by minus 5. Same case, one negative and one positive integer. So answer will be negative, and 50 divided by 5 will be 10. Next one, minus 36 divided by minus 9. Now see, two negative integers are dividing. That means answer will be positive. And division of 36 and 9 will 4. That means the answer of C part is 4. Now, D, minus 49 divided by 49. So, one negative and one positive integer. So, answer will be negative, and 49 divided by 49, answer will be 1. Okay, class? I hope you all are understanding very well, because all the 4 parts are very easy. Now from 5th part, E, 13 divided by minus 2 plus 1 within bracket. So we all had learned about BOD mass in our previous classes. So we all know that we have to solve bracket first. So when we solve this bracket, means minus 2 plus 1, we will get minus 1 as answer. Now this division become very simple, that 13 is divided by minus 1. One negative, one positive, answer will be negative, and division of 13 and 1, answer is minus 13. Okay, class? Now, next part, F. 0 divided by minus 12. We all know that when a 0 divided by any integer, answer will be 0. This is the property of division of integers we have learned few minutes ago. Let's move on to the next part, G. Minus 31 divided by minus 30 plus minus 1 within bracket. First, we have to solve the bracket. So when we solve this, that means minus 30 plus minus 1. Now we all know that minus 30 plus minus 1. When we solve this, plus minus will be minus. Two negative integers will add and get sign of minus. That means minus 31 divided by minus 31 will be 1. H. In H part, minus 36 divided by 12, then their answer will divided by 3. So we have to solve bracket first. When we divide minus 36 with 12, we get minus 3. Then minus 3 will divide with 3. So we get minus 1 as answer. In I part, minus 6 plus 5, their result will divided by minus 2 plus 1. So we have to solve bracket first. So solution of this bracket is minus 1. And for this we have minus 1. Now two negative integers are dividing. We get positive answer, and division of 1 and 1 will be 1. So the answer is 1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Question says that verify that means we have to verify this given situation or equation for each of the following values of A, B and C. Here we have given two parts, A and B, and in both we have given values for A, B and C. So let's try to solve the first one. We have to verify this equation, and we have value for A, B and C. So just put value of A, B and C in this given equation which we have to verify. Now 12 divided by minus 4 plus 2. On the other side 12 divided by minus 4. Then their answer will be add to the answer of 12 divided by 2. The answer for this bracket is minus 2. And when we divide 12 with minus 2, we get minus 6. Whereas on the other side, division of 12 and minus 4 will be minus 3. And 12 divided by 2 will be 6. And when we solve minus 3 plus 6, we will get 3. That means both these sides are unequal. Therefore, the given equation is verified. Okay, class? It is verified. Similarly, you have to solve for part B, which is your practice question for today's class. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Fill in the blanks. Starting parts are very easy. Let's check for A. 369 divided by which number to get 369? So we know that whenever we divide any integer with 1, we get the same integer as an answer. So 1 is its answer. B part, minus 75 will divided by which number to get minus 1? Now we know that we have minus in answer. So one of them should be negative. And it is given that 75 is negative. That means this part will be positive. Okay, class? And we need 1 in answer. So we have to divide any integer with itself to get 1. So 75 will be divided by 75 to get 1, as minus is already for this negative. Now let's check for 3. Minus 206, it divided by which number to get 1? Now keep in mind that this is the case of -1 and this is the case of +1. So we have to find such a number to get positive in answer. So we know that when two negative integers divide, we get positive in answer. So if it is negative, so this one is also negative, should be negative. And to 1, we have to divide 206 with 206. That means minus 206 divided by minus 206 to get 1 as answer. Now class, D, E and F parts are very much similar to these part. So these are your practice question for today, D, E and F. Let's check for G and H. In G part, we have to divide 20 with such a number that we get -2 as a result. We know that for having negative in answer, one of the number should be negative. So here 20 is given as positive. That means this should be in negative. So, and to get 2 in answer, we have to divide 20 with 10 to get 2 in answer. That means -10 is answer. H part, by 4 we have to divide to which number to get -3. So we need minus in answer. We have minus in answer, so we should have negative in this number, and 12 will be answer. How we will know that? We can multiply both to get answer, which is 12. As we know that division is the inverse operation of multiplication. Okay class, I hope that you all are getting very well all these questions. Let's move on to part 4, which is write 5 pair of integers such that we have to write 5 pair of integer such that the condition is this. That means when we divide the first number by the second one, answer should be -3. Answer should be -3 when we divide the first number with second number. One of the example is given that 6 and -2. When we divide 6 with -2, we get -3 in answer. So let's try to find out such 5 pair. The first one is given in question. Let's check for the next one. We want 3 in answer, so we have to write such two numbers that one is the multiple, 3 time multiple of another. For example, 9 is the 3 time multiple of 3, and put negative sign in any one of them because we need negative in answer, so we have to put negative sign only in one. So let's put it with -9. So when we divide -9 with 3, we get -3. Similarly, 12 is the 3 time multiple for 4, and for negative sign we put negative in any one of them, so we put with 4, so we get this. When we divide 12 with minus 4, we get minus 3. Similarly, 15 is the 3 time multiple for 5, and for negative sign we put negative with 15. 18 is the 3 time multiple of 18 is the 3 time multiple of 6, and for negative sign we put negative with 6. Similarly, you can write for 7. The 3 time multiple of 7 is 21. So 21 should be A and 7 should be B, and for negative sign we can put negative with any one of them. So let's put it with 21. Similarly for 8, the 3 time multiple of 8 is 24. So it's A and it's B, and for negative put negative with any one of them. So let's with 8. Okay class? So this is all for today's class. I hope you all are getting very well all your classes.